Today we are going to take a look at some of the characteristics of gifted students, as well as options that are open to them in terms of acceleration. Some of the basic characteristics would be students that have extraordinary talents and skills, as well as students who are very bright, creative, and talented. And there's also the twice exceptional gifted student who also has a disability of some sort or another. One of the more popular types of giftedness is intelligence. And one way to measure that intelligence is through the intelligence quotient, or the IQ. The average human is 100. The average IQ of a college graduate is 120. A student who is gifted has an IQ of above 120. Generally speaking, a student that is intellectually gifted tends to have a large vocabulary. They learn material quickly. They start reading earlier. They have a way of thinking abstractly. They ask lots of questions and store lots of information, and generally have an atypical sense of humor. So these are some of the characteristics and the categories of giftedness: intellectual aptitude, creative or divergent thinking, leadership ability, visual or performing arts, and psychological aptitude. It is important to state that there are many different types of categories of giftedness and many ways of finding out if your child is gifted or talented. Some of the ways of measuring them could be simple IQ tests, school achievement, creative behaviors being shown in the classroom, and basically just through teacher and parent evaluations. Ability tests measure general intelligence as well as memory, conceptual thinking, mathematical reasoning, verbal and nonverbal reasoning, visual motor abilities, and social intelligence. Once it's discovered that your child might be gifted, these are some of the tests that your school system will administer. They are the Stanford-Binet Intelligence Scale, the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children. There are many different cognitive ability tests, and one of the most popular is the Woodcock-Johnson test for cognitive abilities. In addition to these tests, there are also many achievement tests, which are your standard tests basically that measure what the student has already learned. Some of the most common types of achievement tests are the Comprehensive Test of Basic Skills, the Metropolitan Achievement Test, the California Achievement Test, and the Iowa Tests of Basic Skills. It's also important for parents to know that there are many federal and state regulations that schools are required to follow. So under the Gifted and Talented Students Education Act of 1988, students who are gifted require these services that other students do not. One type of those services that are offered is what is called acceleration, which we're going to go into in a little bit more in-depth than some of the other ones. Some of the different types of acceleration are entering school early, telescoping, concurrent enrollment, single subject acceleration, and even whole grade acceleration. According to Jonathan Wye of Duke University, there is substantial evidence that there are a lot of academic and personal benefits to students who are academically accelerated. Probably one of the most extreme forms of acceleration is grade skipping, which can be a whole grade, maybe even 2 grades. Even though many people feel that there might be social problems that go along with grade skipping, there's many studies out there that say that it is a positive thing. So what is it? Throughout history, there have been many famous people who have grade skipped. These are just a few. Sandra Day O'Connor, Martin Luther King Jr., and Warren Buffett. And all of them seem to have done pretty well. One of the huge proponents of acceleration, including grade skipping, was Asselin in his book, A Nation Deceived. There are also many myths associated with gifted education and acceleration. And today I'm going to talk to a few people who have experienced it or who are also teaching in this field. The first myth is that there will be gaps in students' knowledge if we accelerate them.
In my opinion, because these students are already so far ahead, and if they're good candidates for acceleration, they're so far ahead of their same age peers that even if there was a gap, they would master any missing information that they may need in future. Of course, with all the technology, they can find almost anything on information on the web or anything to help themselves also. That's one thing about them, is any student that's so far ahead, they're seeing the same information that they've already mastered. And that's one reason they're so bored. They need to see new information and be enriched, accelerated, compacted, anything to keep them on the go of being useful to society.
The second myth we're going to discuss is that acceleration is only for the exceptional.
I don't think that it's true. You can have a student that's considered non-exceptional, but then have them go that extra step and take like an extra summer class, or take an AP class when they're not expected to, or something like that, and then not necessarily be considered exceptional even though they did that extra step. I think being considered accelerated in one thing kind of pushes them to try to become accelerated in other classes as well, but then I think they also can be kind of overlooked if they're just doing well in just one class as opposed to all 7, like here. I mean, sometimes you have to take an accelerated class to become an exceptional student, and that kind of pushes you to that level.
The next myth is that gifted kids are better off socially with their own age group. Dr. Sylvia Rim mentioned that many very gifted students find better matches for their social maturity group with their older peers. Additionally, Roger states that it's noteworthy that when these children do move to higher grades, they are in fact more likely to make friends.
That is a myth, I think, that the age group doesn't really matter. It's more of your mindset. So if it's a freshman and a senior and they both agree that they want to get school done in the talented and gifted program, I think that they would get along better socially than, let's say, 2 freshmen just because they're the same age. I think it's more about what you think and how you approach school in your grades and stuff like that. I'm in AP Biology right now, and Sarah Donald, she's a senior and she's in that class, and we both are talented and gifted in multiple areas, and we both take AP, and we both get along. I sit beside her, and we just want to get work done, and so we get there, we get to class, we get our stuff done, we listen to the teacher, we do that kind of stuff, and it doesn't matter that she's 18, 17, and I'm only 15 or 16, because we both want to have the same goals in school. Well, I have made a lot of friends in the arts and through theater, and a lot of people in theater are talented and gifted, either in theater or in academics as well. And so I'm a sophomore this year, but I've also had made friends that are seniors and juniors, freshmen, 8th graders through the theater program, and through being talented and gifted in the arts and within academics. Everyone in the theater wants to perform a show that's like of high quality. So we want to get that done, and since we're talented and gifted, we get along together socially pretty well.
No, I don't think that's true because it's been proved wrong. With a student named Blair, she graduated 2 years ahead of us, and she's been in college for a year. She's at the University of Alabama. She's just always been ahead. And, I mean, we're still in high school, but she's out getting her degree, so she's obviously better with older people. I was in academic team with her when she was a senior and I was, I guess, a sophomore, and she fit in with them like she was one of them. I didn't know she was my age until she was graduating.
I think that it just depends on the person specifically. I don't think there's any way to generalize it, but I feel if they feel like they're mature enough or feel like they're comfortable enough to be pushed up and their cognitive functions are high enough that they should be pushed up, then I think that it shouldn't be an issue socially. People, it doesn't matter what age they are, they can have varying ages, but when they have the same level of talent, they can work together and on the same level, on the same playing field, they can work together, and it's not an issue. Age isn't an issue, they're just as talented and can work together and function. I don't know. So for example, when I was a sophomore, or maybe I was a junior. Yeah, I was a junior and Jake was a freshman. He had the lead role in our musical, and that wasn't an issue for anyone else because his age wasn't an issue for anyone in the cast because he was so talented, was able to work on the same level as us. So it didn't interfere with anything. It just was, if anything, more productive. Yeah.
The final myth we'll look at today is that kids should be kids. We don't need to push them.
Personally, I think that if I hadn't been pushed and if my parents and teachers hadn't had high expectations for me over the years, I might have just settled with mediocrity, and I can't imagine being a person that isn't determined to go above and beyond and always exceed in everything I do.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all. I think if you don't push your kids, you don't give them anything to look forward to. Or I think if you don't push them, I think it gives them a sense that you don't care or that people don't believe in them. But I think if you do push them, it gives them a reason to want to be good, they want to work harder because they want whoever's pushing them, their parents or teachers, they want them to assure them that they're doing a good job and that they can be something. And I think instilling that confidence in them through pushing them is really important and is totally essential. Yeah. Okay, so when I took the ACT, I think some people's parents have certain expectations for them, and in my house, it's always you have A's and you get good grades and you do all your work, and so the ACT was a part of that. And the first time I took it, I got a 23, which is a fine score, but it wasn't going to get me any scholarships into college, and I just kind of wanted to not even think about it. And my mom was you can do better. I know you can do better, and we're going to take these courses, and you're going to work in these books, and I'm going to sit here and watch you do it, and you're going to improve, and I know you can do that. And I did improve. I'm 30. So I worked my butt off for it, and she was the one who pushed me to do that. And if she hadn't have, I probably wouldn't have had the score that I have now, because I wouldn't have cared. I didn't think that I could reach that because I didn't think I was smart enough, but she believed in me and pushed me, And if she hadn't have, I don't know where I'd be. I probably wouldn't be getting into a good school and wouldn't get good scholarships and stuff.
So what are some of the considerations that parents should make before this decision to skip a grade? Number one is learning aptitude. Does your child have good reasoning skills? Has a teacher observed these reasoning skills and their academic skills? To evaluate them, review your child's report cards, work samples, and standardized test results. Parents need to be an advocate for their child, and they have to begin with the child's teacher and know the school's philosophy and their statement on gifted education, as well as being familiar with the standards. Looking at your child's work habits is also important. Do they work well independently? Can they concentrate for a sustained period of time? And can they prepare for tests effectively? And above all, do they enjoy learning? Do they enjoy learning new things? Will they pursue topics of interest on their own? And as far as their social maturity, do they relate well with other children? And are they confident in social situations? How about their ability to tolerate academic pressure? How will they cope with an increased workload? Will it upset them to no longer be the star of the class? And how will they respond if they struggle in some subjects? These are all important questions to ask. And it's also very important to know that grade skipping is not for everyone. There are many different other types of acceleration that might be a better fit. The most important thing for parents is to be advocates for their child. If you want to look further into these types of acceleration, talk to their teachers, talk to their gifted and talented coordinator at their school. There are many different options available, and many different kids need different options. And it's important to remember that all kids are different, and so is all forms of education.